On today's Toy Spot, we're going to be looking at the Matty Collector exclusive, the DC Universe Justice League Unlimited, the fan collection of Lobo. Probably not one of the figures that most collectors were ever expecting to find in a Justice League Unlimited. Lobo was rumored for quite a while, actually. I think even up to the point that Justice League finally got canceled, or they finally ended this series. But we never did get a Lobo figure. Probably due to the how dark, I guess, the character was. Probably made sense that they didn't want to bring the character out. But finally, now that Matty Collector and Mattel actually are starting to go back and release some of the more fan collections, or the figures in demand by collectors, we finally get ourselves a Lobo. Now granted, you can see how large this figure is, even the card itself. This card is the size, if I can just pan it to the side there, this card is about the size of a DC Universe figure, give or take. Also sports a new design of the back card, which I think is really, really neat. And it's nice that it's different than the older stuff that they've done, the older cards. On the back, got a picture of Lobo from the cartoon. Brad Garrett, I think, did the voice of Lobo. A perfect choice. What I like down below, too, is you only need the main man. They've shown images of the other characters, I guess, released through a fan collection. Although Superman has been released everywhere, so I don't know why they would put him down there. And Batman, I guess that's Batman based on the ears. We've got Captain Atom, The Question, and Shazam, or Captain Marvel. And we've got Lobo ripping through it, which I think is really neat. And the read-up says the main man Lobo is the most vicious and successful bounty hunter in the galaxy. He'll take any job and see it through to the end, even if backfires on his employers. In the first conflict with the heroes of Earth, Lobo was hired by the Preserver to capture Superman for his permanent collection. It may have started with Lobo taking on the Man of Steel, but after the Preserver turned on Lobo, it ended up with them working together to escape the Preserver's clutches. Despite the fact that the ruthless work ethic has brought him into the conflict with several heroes, Lobo was allowed to join the Justice League after a short while. He was forced out due to the reckless and violent behavior. You just can't keep a depraved man down. Suffice it to say, if you see Lobo on his hog in your view screen, don't even bother reaching for the hyperdrive, because it's already too late. Yes, Lobo was featured in the Superman animated series. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of the episode. I believe it was a two-parter, but he was also in the episode of Hereafter, a great episode where Superman, believed dead, is actually teleported to, I guess, a future world run by Vandal Savage. Good episode. But that's packaging, needless to say, on Lobo. What we'll do is we'll get this opened up, and we will have a look at the main man himself. We'll have a look at Lobo. Stay tuned. And now out of the package, let's have a look at Lobo. Definitely captures the cartoon design of Lobo. Very broad shoulders, very small, gritty looking head. We've got the stubble and the fantastic handlebar mustache. Nice sculpt on the hair as well. He's not heavy. These figures don't tend to be too heavy, but he is definitely large in size. He's sporting a very nice skull belt, complete with these studded spikes all around there, and his biker boots. He's very, very cool. Sadly, for the cost, unfortunately, of this figure, he has no accessories. I'm surprised, really, that they didn't give him at least the chain and the hook. Would have been even cooler, and here's me hoping, but it would have been even cooler that they had included his bike. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, the only thing we get is Lobo. But figure does at least, I think, deserve his hook. Scale-wise, if I bring in, say, Superman, figured I'd bring in damaged Superman, ripped up Superman, you can kind of see the difference in size. Lobo could be just a slight bit taller than what he is, but his figure still works really well. He's definitely a lot broader than most Justice League Unlimited figures, which makes sense. For a second, I was surprised, and I actually thought that they were going to utilize some previous sculpt of the figures. More importantly, like the Doomsday arms. They haven't actually done that, and it's surprising that they have omitted elbow articulation. Most of the broader or larger scale figures, the Doomsday, Gorilla Grodd, Darkseid, have all had elbow articulation. They've taken out knee articulation, but I'm surprised Lobo here didn't have elbow articulation. Instead, what we've gotten is we have articulation in the head. Head can move left and right, probably all the way around too. He has arm articulation. I also like the fact that they've got this rubbery jacket on him. You could probably take it off if you really wanted to, but his sleeve, his one sleeve, is still going to be his jacket, so it makes no sense. But I like it's this rubber that you can at least get some clearance when you rotate the arms. He also has articulation in the legs. Nothing appears to be in the waist, so he's very limited in articulation. But I am surprised that they actually took the articulation out in the elbow. The Lobo, I think, garners about I think it was about $30 to pick this guy up through Matty Collector originally. I didn't pick him up through Matty Collector. I really don't want to pick up too much through Matty anymore, just for all the hassles. I picked this guy up through Big Bad Toy Store. I think you can still find him there. Matty Collector has sold out of this guy. Is he worth collecting? He's basic. The price probably will knock you back a bit. But if you've collected the other Justice League Unlimited figures, you kind of already know what to expect in the way of articulation. And for those who have been craving to get a Lobo, finally now is your chance. Lobo here, I'm going to give a 7 to. He doesn't have a lot of articulation. Sadly, he is missing accessories, which I think would have made this figure even better, especially for the price point. But he is a good figure to pick up. And definitely something worth picking up if you collect Justice League. So that was today's Toy Spot. We were looking at the fan collection, the release of the main man. Today we're looking at the Justice League figure of Lobo. And with that, I'll wrap this up, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.